Come and join our school community using the link below. We've put everything in one place, including the streaming platform shows. Bare knuckle boxing carries a vicious and brutal stigma.
Whether traditional dating or modern dating is the right thing to do.
Like, my entire perception of myself changed when I had the knowledge that I was going to go bald.
I think for men, one of the biggest insecurities is their hair.
So what you tend to notice is that both partners need to work in order to make ends meet.
Eventually led to the comeback.
I'm going to twist again. I'm going to go to the next level.
Yep, so I went a bit wild for like 2-3 years.
Comes easy. You can talk to anybody, and then you have your base. You have your like kind of baseline volume. So I don't talk much lower than this now.
As you just saw, one-to-one calls, live group calls twice per week. Take yourself from last man to first man and unlock more and more benefits with each passing week. It'll also be the official home of the 1M podcast moving forward. With 1M House, we have a dedicated filming location to make this happen. Additionally, all the courses and future courses are included. All the old videos from YouTube. I'll see you there. Enjoy the video. Right then, guys, do you know what? I'm absolutely loving this. Just being able to press record and just get going. I think I might even just use this for the future. Just makes my life so much easier. Don't have to edit or anything. But before we start, just very, very quickly, I just want to address some stuff that's going on the channel right now. I think it's personal attacks because they're not real. People saying stuff like, there's the same comments like, oh, I feel sorry for the people that donate to the stream platform. There's only 3 shows and they can't get access. And it's like, okay, none of that is true. There's 8 shows, which is phenomenal because Apple launched with 30, which always my aim was to get around 30. I think it's a great number for somebody who's just self-funding everything. Like, come on, that's amazing. Like, nobody in this industry's done 8 documentaries, guys. That's nuts, okay? Nobody has access, apparently. Everybody has access, okay? If you're a lifetime member, forget school, forget everything else. If you go to www.1m.video, you've got access to the streaming platform. You always have done. All the shows are there. I don't get it. The migrations team at Uscreen added everybody. I paid them to do so. They added everybody. I looked earlier. The coupon's been there since like early April. Everybody was added. I don't. It's 100% discount. You just sign up. You watch all the shows. Like, so I don't know. It's not people who are lifetime members who are commenting on that. So I'm confused. I don't know. But anyway, I want to jump into this video, and in this video, guys, I want to talk about live setup, okay? Now, I've been doing a lot of live calls lately with the guys on school, and it's fantastic because they're asking me direct questions about, like, I'm in this area, what should my live setup be? I've been doing a few one-to-one calls with people that actually want to relocate and move to different areas, and they're like, what should I do regarding live setup? And the thing about live setup is it's not a short game. Okay, you don't want to move too often. You want to pick maybe 2 locations. You want to pick your short-term location, almost your testing pool. That was me with Cheltenham, and then you want to pick your final location, which is me with London. The reason you don't want to move too often is because live setup takes a lot of time. You have to get to know a lot of people. It's a lot of handshakes, a lot of good mornings, a lot of hey, how are you, a lot of little compliments and talking to people non-stop. And then before you know where you are, you're in with all the major groups. You're in in a bigger city, it's harder, major groups, because there's just so many people. But you know enough people to be connected, to be invited to events, parties, whatever, meetups, or I've got a friend, she'll like you, stuff like that. It takes a long time, so you have to really embed yourself in a place. You have to prep yourself for that. It might take 6 months in a major city. It might take 2 months in a small town or something like that. But you have to give yourself time. It's not going to happen overnight, okay? So you have to dedicate to that. Now, the other tip I want to give you with live setup and putting everything in place is, whilst you're I'll give you an example. I'm currently just in the hometown. I'm going back to Granada soon, so I'm not worried about going down to London yet, but I know I'm going to be moving to London at some point in the winter. I don't know when exactly, but when the time comes, I'll go, okay, now it's the perfect time to go down there. Let's get this done. I'm currently going down to London like 1 day a week, 2 days a week. Okay, just to be there. I think it's important to do, just to stroll around, find nice spots, go into regular places, network with people. Obviously, I have YouTube. It makes it easier. People want to meet you and network with you. But it gives me that live setup. It gives me that ability to go and meet individuals that do live there, meet their friends, meet up with people, go out for food, go out for drinks. You get to know the people in the bars and the valet parkers and stuff like that, the bouncers of certain restaurants, because they have bouncers for restaurants in London. and they give you, you get to know them. They give you preferential treatment. It's little things like that. Or you start talking to somebody who works behind the desk in the restaurant when you first walk in, a high-end restaurant. They get to know your name. You go there 2 or 3 times, and then when you do go back there in the future, they know who you are. They give you a great table. They really sort you out. That happens before you move to a place. And I would encourage you guys, if you're looking to move to somebody major, take regular trips. Now, it could just be once a month, but if you can't afford it, but go down there, start setting things up, start looking at certain areas. I mean, when I was in Cheltenham, the 4 main cafes that I used to use all the time, I found them a year before I moved there, and I used to just go to them repeatedly. I used to just, I went to like 50 cafes, and I found my favorite 4, and I just used them on repeat. And I just got to know all the people in there. I figured out what gym was the best, and I used to go out on my own when I finally moved there, and I just got to know a ton of people and stuff. And that's how you perform life setup, but it happens before the move. You need to be putting that in place. You need to be learning the area. And this is my final point on this, guys. It's not going to be the longest video. I actually need to shoot to the gym in a minute. But you need to learn the area, okay? Because everywhere is different. I mean, if you're in somewhere like Australia, I was talking to a guy about the other day, like, you need to be in great shape. You need to be in great shape because you've always got your shirt off. If you're living somewhere like London, you need to be making a little bit more money than the average person, because London's tough, it's expensive. Most people there are broke. If you're making a little bit more than the average person, you can have fantastic life setup. There's different places around the world where different things matter more. I was saying to a guy the other day, if I was in New York, I would rent a cheap place because everybody kind of has a cheap place there. It's almost the same with London. And then I would have an extremely nice car, because I think that gives you the best possible life setup, where nobody expects you to have a massive house in London because it's just outrageously expensive. Same in New York. As long as you've got like, oh, this is nice. Do you know what I mean? 1-bedroom apartment, a decked out studio, somewhere nice, clean sheets, smells good, somewhere to put your head down, and it's in a good location and it's safe. Nobody's going to care too much. In those areas, it would make so much more sense to have an extremely nice car. And I've said as well, maybe even a parking space in the centre, because then it gives you that unbelievable life setup where you can just park up in the centre and get on with it. Or, a really big clothing budget, because you're always out and about. And then on top of that, you have, great knowledge of restaurants. Like that, for me in London, it would be, you get a place that's like $2,000 a month, nothing crazy, but it's safe in a decent area. You then have an extremely nice car. You then have amazing knowledge of restaurants, and you know them all. And maybe you could even pay for a parking space or something in like a major area, or you live relatively close where you can just walk in, catch a Uber or something like that, and it wouldn't be an issue. That for me is amazing life setup. That in Australia might suck. Okay, it might not be the same. That in somewhere like Cheltenham, where I used to be, would suck. Okay, because you just be like, it's too small to drive around. There's not enough high-end restaurants. I can't valet park outside. I'm not going to get that amazing life setup and, those looks that you might require in order to have that great life setup. Where people are like, who's that guy? So in an area like Cheltenham, where I was growing up, it just pays to be, a lot of people just pays to have a normal life, just normal social life, but be a handsome guy who's in shape. And follow trends, fit in. Like, that's the small town mindset, is just fit in, follow trends, look like everybody else, dress like everybody else. You've got to figure out the area, you've got to figure out the system, and wherever you guys plan to move, I suggest for life setup purposes, you immerse yourself in that culture. I suggest that you get out to those areas and you just, travel around. You just have a little look, you talk to people, you really visualize, you sit in the middle of the busy area and you just sit and you have a little look around and you just go, okay, I'm figuring this out. And when we were in Granada, I was like, I'm really intrigued. I really want to know what the dating scene is like here. So I just started approaching a ton of women. And yeah, I got broken Spanish, but I was just like, I want to figure it out. I'm just really interested. And it's like, a lot of people are married at 21, 22. They meet their childhood sweetheart, they get married, the family forces them to do it, or pushes them to do it, should I say. And then they just settle down young and they're extremely loyal. And I was just like, oh, okay, like I'm figuring this one out now as well. Like whatever area I'm in, I just immerse myself in that culture and just figure out, okay, what gives you the best bang for your buck? And it's super important. Me and my friend were speaking about this the other day. He's got a Ferrari and a very nice place in, I guess it's Zone 2 in London. And we were saying the other day, we're like, if you had £5,000 per month disposable to play around with, he pitched it to his friends. He was like, what would you spend it on in terms of like car or house? And all of his friends were like, 5 grand on a house, definitely. I'd want an amazing house. And he was like, no, it doesn't make sense. He was like, because nobody moves to London for the houses unless you're like mega rich, right? Unless you're like David Beckham or something like that. And you can afford a massive house in Holland Park. Outside of that, most of the houses are just shitty apartments. You know, they're not amazing. It's like a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, no garden space, a little balcony if you're lucky. And so you're gonna spend a fortune and not get something amazing. So he was talking about rent in this case. So, you know, you could even play a mortgage off that price as well. But let's just say he was talking about rent and financing a car or something like that. And he was like, I just wouldn't go with that strategy. He was like, in my opinion, it would make more sense to do like 2 grand on a place and then, or like 3 grand on a place and 2 grand on an amazing car. He was like, or you could even go even further. You could go 2 grand on the place, 1,500 on a car per month, and then you've still got that money spare for life and whatever. You can do even more with it. You can go out to restaurants and have meals and stuff like that. And he was like, my friends just didn't quite get it. And I was like, look, I get that. I really get that. In a place like London, that makes so much sense because nobody's moving there for the house. Nobody goes into your house in London and goes, oh my God, it's huge. Most people go, well, yeah, it does the job. This is nice. This is okay. But like, we're in London. Let's go outside. Let's get dressed up. Like, let's put on some nice clothes. Let's get dressed up. Let's go to a bar or restaurant. It's Sunday night, 11 p.m. and there's a million people still out, you know, enjoying themselves, whatever, different areas. It's just like, yeah, that's what London is for. That's what you're there for. So it makes way more sense to have, you know, that spare money spent on like a clothing budget or a car or something like that, and not have crazy rent. Just have a decent place in a decent area that isn't too far away. Like, in terms of life setup, that is what you would do in that area. You would split it in that manner because the car in London would give you the most bang for your buck. Does that make sense, guys? That's not me encouraging you to spend money. I actually encourage you to keep your bills low, which with that strategy you can still do if you don't spend on other stupid shit. But I'm just saying, if you've got that disposable money, and you might have 1,000 disposable, but that gives you an idea, right? I would save the 1,000 every month and then do it later on down the line when I got older. But that gives you an idea of life setup based on the area that you've moved to. It is different in every area. I was saying to the guy who's moving to New York the other day, well, we was deciding where he should move, and I said New York 100% based on all the factors that you've told me. So we decided on that first. That was one point. The second point, I said to him, you should lean into the British thing. He's got a lot of money, and I was like, you should lean into the British thing. You should get like an Aston Martin. You should wear like really nice suits everywhere. Be super, super like prestige and organized. You should get a parking space in the center of New York somewhere. I was like, and you should just play into that British role. Like, I'm the British gentleman and stuff like that. I was like, your place doesn't matter too much. As long as it's safe and it's nearby and whatever, and it's got parking. I was like, it doesn't matter too much. It's more, I'm in New York, I'm at a rooftop bar, I'm having time of my life, I'm networking with friends, I'm always out for meals. Like, I would rather have money for that in a major city like London or New York. Whereas when I was living in Cheltenham, I needed a nice place because Monday to Thursday, nothing happens. Friday's okay, Saturday's amazing. Sunday by 6 p.m, dead. So Sunday to Thursday, dead. So what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to meet, all the restaurants are closing and stuff. Any girl you take on a date is very much just like, oh, but I have to get back for work. Everyone's got that mentality. Whereas in London, people squeeze it till like midnight, 1 a.m. They're like, I've got work tomorrow, but I want to squeeze my weekend. So I was like, I need a really nice place so I can just lock in and work on this business. So I can just, you know, I'll have a nice seating area with a fire table and a nice TV and stuff like that. And then it will occupy me. And look, I spent way too much time in the house in Cheltenham, but I had to. It was just that sort of area. And Cheltenham's more, you wake up at 7 a.m, you go down the coffee shop and you use your mornings. You know, it's not really nightlife central. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of the place where you use in the day, the mornings. It's sort of almost that place. London's very much 24/7, but it's very much about the nightlife. It's the rooftop bars, it's the restaurants, it's, you know, it's going out and enjoying yourself and stuff like that. So it's a completely different life setup. There is no one fits all. I might actually write a book on life setup and framing, guys. I think it'd be really cool. Let me know if you guys would want that. I'll put that together. I'll probably do the audio book first or something like that, so then, you know, you guys have actually got something that you can have right away, and then I'll write the book and get it published or something after that, or I might do it. I don't know. I think life setup and framing, I think that'd be such a cool book. So, you know, I got the Mail Advantage published. I think that getting that published would be amazing. And everyone in school can have a free copy. All 1M House guys can have a free copy as well, or something like that. That's what we'll do. So Yeah, it does. It changes based on the area. Now there's core fundamentals, but it changes based on the area that you're in and what gives you the most bang for your buck. If you had a beach house in Miami, it's amazing. You know, if you had a house on, you know, like if you had a house overlooking the lake in like Hempstead or something like that, Hampstead, like it's not the same. It would probably cost more, but it's not the same as having like a beach and a sea view and stuff like that. That gives you way better life setup. Like Canary Wharf, for example, this is such a good example actually. Canary Wharf, super busy during the daytime in the weeks because everyone's working there. After work, it's kind of dead. It's dead at night. There's not a lot going on. It's not busy at all. For London standards, it's busy for everywhere else, but it's not busy at all. On, you know, past a certain time, I mean, and on weekends, it's dead. Okay, so on a Thursday, amazing. On a Thursday, it's amazing. After work for an hour or two, it's amazing. After that, late at night, it is okay. It is okay, and it's better. It's better in the weeks than most other places, but on the weekend, it is completely dead. Completely dead. There's not. People go there for pre-drinks because it's a lot easier to do. Now, there's a few rooftop bars there as well. There's a few amazing rooftop bars, and people do go there on weekends, on Saturdays, and stuff like that. And it's just like this whole different world. Do you know what I mean? It just has this whole different energy and whole different vibe to it because it's like it's almost like a hidden gem. It's a little bit quieter. People go there for a different type of reason, for pre-drinks right at the start, to just speak easy and stuff like that. And then after work, it's a business area in the week. So it changes so much that your entire life setup is different. Your entire life setup is different Monday to Thursday, and then Thursday to Saturday's different, and then Sunday's different. It's such a strange place. You know what we should do actually? All the guys from school will do a meetup in Canary Wharf or something over like 2 days in London, and I'll show you the difference between like Wednesday and Thursday. We'll do something like that. We'll do a Wednesday and Thursday. We'll do a meetup in Canary Wharf. We'll all go for food somewhere. We'll try and hit a gym session, but if not, we'll all go for food, coffee, whatnot, and I'll show you guys different life setup. And then maybe we'll go down to like Soho or Mayfair, and I'll show you guys the level of life setup that's required there. We could do that actually. We could do something like that, and I can teach you guys about life setup and be like, look at this, like how effective would this be? Look at this restaurant, look at the way it's positioned. If you had a nice car, you pull up there, the whole window is somewhere where they can see you. That's now one of your favorite restaurants. You've got to use that to your effect because as soon as you pull up in that nice car, you go in, you dress well, you're in shape. Everyone wants to get to know you. It just makes it so much easier. You know, there's so many bouncers that will just be like, what do you do? What's your name? Like, so they're not earning a huge amount of money. They're like, what's your name? What do you do? What is it? What industry are you in? Now they know you. They're going to look after you. Not only are they going to look after you, but they're going to set you up in a good way, I mean. And then the people behind the till, the people at the restaurant who check you in are going to be like, we're always going to make sure that guy can get a good table. He comes here often. He's obviously a successful guy. He spends a decent amount of money. I'm going to take care of him. Also, I've got a friend that would probably like him. Like, he's pre-validated. You know, you can put all that in place, and I'll show you guys different examples. I think that'd be so cool. We'll set that up when I come back from Granada, maybe middle to end of September. We're also looking to do a hike up a mountain in Wales. That would be amazing. So, community-driven moving forward, guys. I can't wait for the future. I better shoot to the gym. I haven't been in 2 weeks, so I'll catch you all later. Have a good one.